The song that we're going to do is According to Thy Gracious Word. This is a little more difficult song. It is not recommended for beginners. We're going to do a little more interpreting within the song, so you have to kind of go with the flow on some of these. The word according is, it's like. If it's according to the word, it's like the word. Thy, and we're going to be talking about God, so it's open hand upward toward God. Anytime you're talking about possession, it's open hand. Your, my, thy, or thine. Gracious. And that is the rubbing of the backs of the hands. It's like Grandma used to take your hand and she would rub it to make you feel better. Word, and a word is a small thing, and you put it on the pointer finger of your non-dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so my non-dominant is my left, and I'm showing just that little short word. Word. Meek. And that is going to be the feeling, and we talk about the center fingers as being the feeling fingers, coming up the chest and putting it on whatever it is that you're talking about. Meek. Humility, and that is going to come from the head, and we're going to take it underneath the dominant palm. Humility, you're bringing it underneath this, and you just take your hand pointer out and point to this. I, and when we talked about the open hand being possession, but if we're pointing to me or I, thee for God, and whenever the word is for my sake, it is just for me. And so you're going to be interpreting that rather than word by word translation. Me or my sake, or thou, meaning God. Do, and that's your thumb and your pointer finger, and they just back and forth. Do. Dying, both of your hands, palms toward each other, are standing up, and if it dies, it just flops over. Die, or dying. Lord, you think of the royal ribbon of Miss America, and you come from the non-dominant side down to the waistline of your dominant side. Lord. Will. Most of the time, will is not done. The only time that I do will is if it brings more power to the sentence. And then you just start with your open hand, palm toward your face, and bring it straight out. It's just open hand, straight out. Will. Remember, it is a thought that is in your head, and you lay it down on the thumb of your non-dominant hand. It's like you're taking it out of your mind, and you're looking at it to remember it. Body, and basically your body parts you just touch. So your body here, both hands, and they're in a cupped position. Body. Broken. If you think of a pencil and you break it, that's broken. Get a hold of it with both hands and pop it free. Broken. 4. And I think of forehead, my pointer finger pointing toward my head, and it just comes straight out. 4. Bread, and if you think of your hand as a loaf of bread and you come with your pinky against it and cut the bread. Bread. From. 2X hands. Take it from the non-dominant side and pull it away. From. Heaven. It's going to be a rolling up of the hands and then designating above your head. Heaven. So you just roll it and then it separates. Testimonial. In this song, it's the same as preach, but with the T. It's like you're preaching or the testimony of God. Testimonial. Cup, you put your non-dominant hand, palm up, make a C with your dominant hand and set it right on your, like you're setting a cup on a table. Cup. Take, it's over there, I grab it and bring it to myself. Take. Thus. This thus means so. So I just S-O, finger spell. There's a few words like that, like the word of, so. Gethsemane, in the garden, it is a garden, and so you've got two G hands, and you're going to make a square starting away from your body and coming back and making that square toward yourself. Garden and of prayer, and so you just garden and then fold your hands for prayer. Can. Both hands are in basically the A position and straight down. I can do it. Can. Forget, and we talked about the mind, but if you wipe it clean, you forgot. So forget. There, designate that it's just over there. Open your hand or point, either way, but there. Conflict. Both of your pointer fingers cross. It's like you've got this going and this going at the same time. If you remember Jesus in the garden, he didn't really want to die, but he knew that was God's will. So there was kind of a conflict. See, and you're going to take the two hand or V from the side of your eyes and come out. See. Agony means to suffer. So you're going to take both of your A hands, put them together, and you're going to like crush whatever is inside. It's a crushing feeling, suffering. Bloody. Blood is the red from your lips, so stroke it with your finger, and then it bleeds on down, and then it runs down your hand. Blood. Sweat, and you're going to, it's just like you're going to take it from your forehead, and it's like all that sweat just dripping off your head, like in summertime when you get really hot outside. Sweat. Not. Your dominant thumb comes from under your chin and straight out. Not. Not. Now, in this song, there are some questions being asked, and it's just like you're drawing those little question marks in the air, and you'll see them either come down or one question mark. When your non-dominant pointer finger, and I think of myself when I'm flying, I really want to get down on the ground, so it's when, a little circle, and then land. When. Two, now a lot of times I don't do that word if it's not necessary for the meaning, and it's just the pointer finger going toward the pointer finger of your non-dominant hand. Two. Cross the C hand and you make the sign of the cross. Cross. Turn. Both pointer fingers up and you make it turn around each other. It's like it's going that way, and you take it and it goes completely around. Eyes, and that is just pointing toward the eyes. Anytime you do a body part, most of the time it's just touching. Now, in this song, the word rest, when my eyes rest, it is, remember we talked about the eyes and that watching. Okay, so here the eyes are going to be looking or resting on something. On, dominant hand, both hands palm down, put your dominant hand on top of the non-dominant, the back side. On. Calvary, you start with the sign for mountain, which is a rock, and then you make the grade of the hill going up. Hill would be just slightly up, where mountain is a little higher. And then with the cross on the top of it, because that's, we talk about the hill of Golgotha, the mountain or hill of Calvary. O, and it's just double O with your hand. O. Lamb. If you think of the wool on the lamb and you take your two hands like you would scissors to cut the wool off, that is the lamb. Now, anytime you are adding it to something else, you have to decide if the lamb is the person or if it continues. In this song, it will continue. It is a lamb, and remember I told you, finger spell Av, O-F, God coming down from heaven and landing in the center of your forehead. God, so that, as I say, that thumb lands in the middle. Sacrifice, take a hold of it and give it away. Sacrifice. Must, the X hand again is you push it down like it has to be done. Must. All, your dominant hand goes all the way around your non-dominant palm and then lay everything inside of it. All. Pain. If you think of two pins going into your side, pain. Love, cross your hands and hug. It's like you get a hold of somebody and you're hugging them tight. Yay or yes. And that's just like your head is nodding. Yes. While. And that is both your pointer fingers, and they go together out toward the future. This is the present. Out there's the future. So while one is going, the other one is too. While. Breath. And that is just you're showing the action of your chest for breathing. Breath. Now, it talks about the pulse. What it's talking about is a heartbeat. So your center finger is going to touch your heart and come against your palm of your non-dominant hand in a beat. So it's a heartbeat. Remains, this one just means to continue. Thumb, dominant on top of the non-dominant and push it out toward the future. Remains or continues. These, and you're just going to point. Do you see these? It's a showing sign. These. Failing. Failing, most of the time you will either do failing like it's falling, or you will do a deterioration, which you start up here and you come down your arm. You can do it either way for failing or something that is deteriorating. Lips, again, body part, just touch both of your lips. Now, this one is going to say grow dumb. Now, in the olden days, the word dumb did not mean that you're stupid. It meant that you couldn't hear. So, in this instance, again, it's going to be an interpretation, and you may have a different interpretation, but here I use the word silence. So I say silence. Mind, and again, you're going to be touching your forehead because that's where your mind is. To flee, and again, this one is to fade. Again, I'm doing an interpretation of the song. Fade. In, you pinch your dominant hand and it goes into, like your hand forms a cup. In. Kingdom, and you remember that Miss America ribbon, you take the K and it comes down across and then it's going to go out and over land. The K comes down to your waist and then open your hand and show that you're covering an area. Kingdom. Come, it's over there. I want it to come to me. Come. Jesus, think of the nail prints, and we've got the center feeling fingers. Touch the nail prints in the hands of Jesus. according to thy gracious word, in meek humility. This will I do, my dying Lord, I will remember thee. Thy body broken for my sake, my breath from heaven shall be. Thy testamental cup I take, and thus remember thee. Gethsemane can I forget, or there thy conflict see, thine agony and bloody sweat, and not remember thee. When to the cross I turn my eyes and rest on Calvary, O Lamb of God, my sacrifice, I must remember thee, remember thee, and all thy pains, and all thy love to me. Yea, while a breath, a pulse remain, will I remember thee. And when these failing lips grow dumb, and mind and memory flee, when thou shalt in thy kingdom come, Jesus, remember